Ahead on American Sunrise, the communist and the patriot. President Trump set to meet with New York City Mayor-elect Zoran Mamdani today at the White House. Will it be civil or will it get heated? We'll check in with Joseph Stalin. No, anyhow, we're going to have coverage throughout the show. Plus, say what? Attorney General Pam Bondi facing some heat for comments on how the DOJ will handle the Epstein Files release. We're going to have her remarks time and time again, and the fallout. And later, a Bush family coup? Let the plotting begin. Is the Bush family planning to return to prominence in GOP politics after Trump leaves office? Those juicy stories and more as American Sunrise starts on a Puppy Friday, a Freedom Friday, just a Friday overall right now. Good morning, America.
Welcome to American Sunrise.
Whether it's culture,
we have breaking news to share with you.
Politics.
President Trump is joining us live now from Florida.
We've got you covered.
This is what it looks like to be a patriot.
We have to protect the American family.
The American dream is still alive.
I'm David Brody.
I'm Terrance.
And I'm Dr. Gina. Good morning, I'm Dr. Gina. We are live with you from the Palm Beaches. Let's bring in David Brody in Washington, D.C. and Terrance K in our Denver newsroom. Good morning, guys.
Morning, G. Good morning,
Dr. Gina. David, good morning. David, in your teasers, you just said those juicy stories and so much more ahead. Well, I think arguably one of the most juicy stories right now involves Democrat senators who are urging service members to defy President Trump's orders. The president, of course, calling the video seditious and punishable by death. He's even calling the senators traitors, saying that George Washington would have hanged them. In case you missed the video itself and the White House's response, here it is.
Americans trust their military.
But that trust is at risk. This administration is pitting our uniformed military
And intelligence community professionals
against American citizens. Like us, you all swore an oath.
To protect and defend this Constitution.
Right now, the threats to our Constitution aren't just coming from abroad, but from right here at home.
Our laws are clear. You can refuse illegal orders.
Caroline, can I just follow up? The president and the vice president, for that matter, have accused the other side of encouraging political violence. Isn't that exactly what the president is doing when he says that members of Congress should be killed?
Why aren't you talking about what these members of Congress are doing to encourage and incite violence? They are literally saying to 1.3 million active duty service members not to defy the chain of command, not to follow lawful orders.
Actually, every single can refuse an illegal order, which is
they're suggesting, Nancy, that the president has given illegal orders, which he has not. Every single order that is given to this United States military by this commander-in-chief and through this chain of command, through the Secretary of War, is lawful.
Yeah, Nancy. Dr. Gina, you were the first to use the word seditious when we first started reporting on this story a few days ago.
You know, it's an embarrassment. And by the way, the wording in this piece of drivel that they've put out there is so misleading and so inciting. For them to say against American citizens, hello, illegal aliens are not American citizens. They do have some constitutional protections, but they don't have constitutional protections beyond those that our commander-in-chief gives to our military. That's where they are so misleading. This is seditious, and he's absolutely right, our president, in saying that George Washington would have had these folks hanged.
Well, a couple of things. First of all, this video here, they're saying illegal behavior. You must stand up against illegal behavior. I'm sorry, it wasn't behavior. What was the word? I'm sorry, I'm losing it. Illegal orders. Illegal orders. Yeah. Well, a couple of things. What does that mean exactly? Like, in other words, if you think it's illegal, or I mean, obviously, if the U.S. Supreme Court deems it illegal, if you will, then that's one thing. But that's not what they're talking about here. They're very murky on what they're talking about. I think. In other words, are you just saying everybody just takes it into their own hands? Well, clearly that's what the implication is, for sure. Also, go ahead, Gina.
I was just going to say, and a lot of these folks, they don't. Not everyone can afford a lawyer to interpret all things that they think are true. A lot of these people out there may not even realize what is legal and what is not truly legal.
Yeah, but speaking of legal and what's legal and not legal, let's just go to the facts here. I mean, the U.S. Code says seditious conspiracy is an attempt to overthrow the government by force or whatever. It doesn't have to be by force, put down the government. But here's the thing. It's not punishable by death. It's punishable by up to 20 years in prison for civilians. That's what the U.S. Code says. It's not punishable by death. Where it is punishable by death is in the Uniform Code of Military Justice, the UCMJ. So in other words, if a military member does that, then it's punishable by death, not if a member of Congress does it. And I think that's important, that we need to point that out.
I think another thing that's really important to point out is that none of these loudmouths were out there during COVID when our military and police, in certain instances, were being given illegal orders against real American citizens, and none of them were saying a word. They were all quietly going to expensive restaurants with their friends while they told the American people to sit down, shut up, stay inside, and let their relatives die in nursing homes with an experimental vaccine being pumped into them.
Yeah. Let's get to our Bible verse, Dr. Gina, so we can get to our guest, please.
Right,
that's a hard turn. I love it.
You were getting a little riled up there, but it's true. Matthew 28:20 says, teaching them to observe all things that I have commanded you, and lo, I am with you always, even to the end of the age. I love that one. I just love that one. Is there a movie, you guys, or something where that's the end of it? I think one of the original Passion movies, maybe. That's the very last words in the movie, and it kind of echoes off, and I'll just never forget that. Today's the day. President Trump slated to meet with New York City Mayor-elect Zoran Mamdani. I still can't believe I'm saying those words. Those two are slated to talk about affordability issues. Here's what White House Press Secretary Karoline Leavitt had to say.
We have a communist coming to the White House because that's who the Democrat Party elected as the mayor of the largest city in the country. I think it's very telling, but I also think it speaks to the fact that President Trump is willing to meet with anyone and talk to anyone and to try to do what's right on behalf of the American people, whether they live in blue states or red states or blue cities, in a city that's becoming much more left than I think this president ever anticipated in his many years of living in New York himself.
For more, let's bring in South Carolina Congresswoman Cheri Biggs. Cheri, this is going to be very interesting today. What are your predictions in terms of what Mamdani will do? I mean, they're both going to be playing a certain degree of chess and strategy. There's no doubt about that. What could go well here?
Well, good morning. I trust that our president is going to take the lead in this conversation. You know, he is the ultimate negotiator. I'm not sure how much will be negotiated because of the extreme left ideas, but I'm anxious to see the results. You got to admire President Trump. He does not view any task as too difficult, and he is up and ready to take on the challenges, and I look forward to hearing the outcome of that meeting.
Yeah, I am definitely popping popcorn and waiting. It should be interesting for sure. Congresswoman, the whole thing about sedition, want to get your reaction to that, this Democrat lawmaker video. What do you make of it specifically, and the president's comments about sedition?
Well, as for the president's comments, I think we all would agree that he uses colorful language in his discussions. And me, as a military member, I actually have respect for what the president's done and for what this administration has done to move our military forward and to build it back up and to focus on strength and resiliency. That's important. You know, when you put on that uniform, you're making a sacrifice, and you have to know that the president of all people has your back. And the past 4 years with President Biden, I didn't feel that way. And I got to tell you, a lot of my comrades felt the same way. There was not that trust, and there was not the respect. And the morale is coming up. You can look at that in the numbers with recruitment. Things are on a much better path.
Let me quickly follow up. You say colorful language by the president. How would you term that video? Have you seen the video? What do you think of it?
So I saw the video of the Democrats, and it's disgusting to me. It really is. And I find there's one word that comes to mind, and that's just hypocrisy. Everything that the Democrats do, they try to turn it and make it out and blame the Republicans. And I think the American people are so sick of that. They just want Congress to come and do their job, and they're sick of the blame game. They're just sick of games, period. They want us to work. They want to make the economy better. They just want to live in a free world where they can take care of their families and live in peace.
Congresswoman, before we let you go, I want to talk about this gun rights bill you're working on. Can you give us the nuts and bolts of it and what triggered it? I hope you see what I just did there.
Nicely played.
Yeah, I love that. My district will love that. We fully support the Second Amendment in South Carolina's 3rd District, and thank you for mentioning that. So it's actually a letter that I'm leading on, and I've gotten a lot of support from my peers. But what it's going to do, it's going to replace outdated laws that cuts through the red tape to make law-abiding citizens able to carry their guns and not be bogged down in ridiculous laws that, as I mentioned, are outdated.
Yeah, it's so interesting you say that. I went to a church that my son's been going to on Sunday, and I walked in, and there's like no security. He goes, "We don't have to have security, Mama. The pastor says from the pulpit that he's carrying, and everyone in the audience claps and says they're carrying too." And it made all the difference because you felt completely safe. I'm used to going into these churches, and they have all this security. I guess you don't need it if everyone's carrying, and that's the beauty of Florida. Congresswoman Biggs, thank you so much, and thank you for your defense of our Second Amendment. That means a lot to those of us around the country who hope other Congress people will stand with you on this.
Absolutely.
Thanks so much, Congresswoman.
Thank you.
All right, coming up, we check out the hottest headlines from the Rap Newsroom. You guys, it's Friday. It kind of doesn't feel like a Friday. Why doesn't it feel like a Friday? I don't know. But it is Friday, and we have Border Patrol agents reportedly monitoring suspicious driving styles. What are some of the things they're looking for there? We have those new developments coming up on American Sunrise and a whole lot more because it is Freedom Friday. It is Puppy Friday. We're going to have a fun show. Stay with us.